Hey everybody, hope everyone's doing well. This is my 1979 Trans Am. I think I'm the third owner, 22,000 original miles. Pontiac motor, 400 4-speed. The reason I'm making this video is I just did an aluminum radiator dual fan. And it seems like most of the videos that I have watched and or pictures I have looked at really struggle with how they're going to mount the radiator and the bracket on the top. So let me just go over a couple things. Like everybody else, I got the radiator, it bolted in, awesome. Factory shroud is obviously not going to work. So I tried to figure out, okay, what will I do? So I did the usual, like everybody else, wasted some money. So this is from Restore a Muscle Car. This is the custom bracket that they sell. Matches the factory holes. This thing is sturdy. This is a nice piece of metal. Sadly, it was too long. It was too long for the radiator that I had, as in there was a gap between this end and the radiator. I did drill holes. I did try to make it work, but it didn't. The next thing I did was I used the factory shroud and cut it up. And that actually worked. I'll show you. This worked, except there's no way to use it as a one piece. And what happens is when you screw it down or bolt it down, it bows up and doesn't hold the radiator. You can see it goes right over where the rubber pieces would go. So that didn't work. So finally, I bought this cover from Custom Works, which wasn't for any specific radiator, but it was for a dual fan Gen 2 Firebird. So there it is. It's their dimpled cover, and it's short money. It's only about $75 or $80, which to me was a good deal, and I didn't have to cut anything up. So it mounted perfectly in the holes. It doesn't come with any bolts. I bought these stainless steel bolts myself. I wanted them to match this serpentine belt kit I installed. I'll do a video on that at another time. This is a March setup. I started with CVF Racing, which is now either owns March or is owned by March, but it was terrible. I won't get into it. But it all had to do with the water pump. Anyway, so I bought this Custom Works one. The Custom Works one is shorter than the stock radiator. You can see, there's the rubber. I cut the back piece of that rubber off, but you can see it's not as long. And I said to myself, what am I going to do? How do I mount this? So after a couple of attempts, I don't know what came over me, I pushed the radiator forward towards the front of the car, and it would get to the front of the Custom Works, but it was too short. I said, what will I do? And then I said to myself, wait a minute, let me go to Home Depot. I bought a nice sturdy piece of aluminum. These holes you see right here, that bolt right there, and then there's two more. That's from the radiator. All these radiators have these covers bolted to the fans bolted to the radiator. And most of them, it's just dead space behind the bolts. This is from Entropy, this radiator. So I called them and I said, can I back those bolts out? Is there any issue? And they said, no, not at all. So I backed the bolts out, bought longer ones just to make up for this little space right here, whatever that is, 1/8 of an inch. I don't think it's a quarter. I think it's just 1/8. But just to make up for that space, so I could apply the same pressure. You know, I wasn't going to torque this to 100 foot-pounds or anything else and strip it out. So I did that. So let me just show you. Now listen, I'm not a genius, but I just don't see anyone on YouTube having this posted. I bought a piece of aluminum. I templated it out. Nice and sturdy. Now I'll tell you something. This is the funny part. This was actually going to be the outside. But because I knew I had extra holes that I drilled because I didn't measure correctly, I didn't have to buy another piece of aluminum, but I did because I'm a perfectionist or idiot, one or the other. And I was like, no, I cannot have those holes back there hidden. I don't care. I'll know. So I bought another piece of aluminum, and now it's literally perfect. This is what I bought. Home Depot, I think it was $7. So literally, the piece from Custom Works and this piece and the stainless steel bolts I bought, so let's see, what, 75, 80, let's say 15 for the bolts, $95, and it was done. So this is what it looks like from the back. And by the way, this is a single core equal to a dual core. It's an entropy radiator. That's the name of the company. And they just went to this single core, super wide versus dual core. Now you can see I have in place the rubber. I cut the end off just to make it look a little better. The rubber is in there to brace this area right here. Let me just show you. This thing won't move. The car's moving, the radiator's not. Let me go around to the other side. The other side is a little bit looser. I think what I'm going to do is just take a little dab of caulk to hold these on so I can pull them off if I ever want to, which maybe I will at some point. So there it is. There's a piece of rubber. Comes right off. Factory piece. There's your little gap. Let me give you some better light here. There's the gap. Just like that. Just covering that gap so it doesn't vibrate. It wouldn't probably hit the front anyway because it's bolted right here. So you can see right in there, you can see the radiator and the piece of metal right up against each other. It would never have gone anywhere, but I did it just for the heck of it. Let me just pop this back in. Simple as that. And yeah, I think I'm just going to use a little dab of caulk to keep that in there. I don't even know. I might cut it all the way back to here just so it doesn't look like it's a funky piece. But you can see everything else is factory here. I didn't have to cut anything up. I see people cutting these tabs off. I see people cutting this whole thing off along the bottom here. I mean, I don't get that, to be honest with you. But, you know, people do what they want to do. By the way, as you can see, sorry about my finger there. You can see that I put a serpentine belt kit on this motor. And I'm finishing vintage air installation. Oh, there's my F-body, Pro Touring F-body suspension I've got on it. Complete, front to rear. Everything Dave sells at that shop. Everything. I'll go into that later. This baby takes corners like any 2025 C8 Vet, I can tell you that. So, and I also mounted the battery with the multiple connector. I'll do some little videos on a couple of these things because I got some good tips that I learned after watching so many YouTube videos and stuff just being missing or their videos 10 years old or whatever. So anyway, one other thing I wanted to do. I wanted to show everyone, because you may ask, where'd it go? There it is. There it is. I wanted to give everybody the measurements. So here is the measurements. You could have gotten this online, but I'll do it anyway. So this is, looks like 26 1/4. And then the top is 4 inches. 4 inches right in the factory spot. No drilling required, nothing. So anyway, I know that's simple. You don't have to be a genius to figure this out, but I don't see any videos where people said, hey, this is the way to take care of this issue. So that's it. So anyway, I hope this little short video is helpful. I'm hoping to get my car back on the road for the spring. I just did I'm doing the interior over. I just put a new rug in. New LED lights. New sound system. I did not cut it. It had been cut prior to me. I struggled with what will I do for the sound system. I took the faceplate off and it had already been cut, and that made my decision for me. And oh yeah, I just did some LED dash lights. Remembering the 79. Let me put this down. The 79. It's red dash lights. There you go. Nice. Pretty nice. Yeah, I can't wait. There we go. Okay, so that's it. That's my car. That's my video. I hope this helps anybody who is doing a dual fan radiator, because it's very easy, but nobody has anything up about how to mount it. So if you got any good ideas off what I showed you, I hope it helps you. Okay, everybody, have a good night. Take care. Thanks.